Great games aren't built on graphics, they are built on levels. You can capture attention with great visual design, but the experience is marked by the way you map the player's journey. Think of Zelda's dungeons, Doom's corridors, or more recently, Marvel Rivals maps. These weren't random, they were designed to guide you, challenge you, and make you never forget the experience. That's what level design is, not just placing walls, but building journeys. Today we are starting simple, using Drawio inside Google Drive to sketch a level from the top view. Then in the next parts of this series, we'll bring it into Unreal and watch it come alive in 3D. So hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell to follow this channel for new tricks in game creation and get strategies to build a successful path in the gaming industry. And hey, if you want more than just tutorials, if you want a clear plan to grow as a game creator, check out the Game Creator Accelerator. It is my lifetime mentorship program that gives you not only the technical skills, but also the strategy to grow your presence, career, and even your own studio. Head to woolon.com, take the free training, and start building your path. Alright, let's sketch a level, because every unforgettable game starts with a map. The first step in the process is how to access Drawio. The only thing you require is to have a Google Drive account and you open your Google Drive. Let's select any folder inside your Google Drive, right-click, and select the option of More. Go to Connect to More Apps. Inside it, look for Draw.io. This is the app that you want to install. In my case, I have it already installed. I don't have to do anything else. In your case, you will have the option to install it. Once you finish, you can right-click on Google and look for your app. Here is Drawio. Open it. It is probably that they will ask you some grants, some permissions for accessing the tool. You just have to accept them and you will find something like this. Drawio is a tool designed to create flow diagrams. And you can see in the models that you have to the left that it is pretty simple. You just drag and drop one of these models and then you can play with the geometry, whatever you want in terms of the size. You can also rotate and you can also assign colors because we're going to use the tool to have a top view of our level. I don't have to use all these general shapes. The ones that I use the most are this one, which is the square, and in some occasions the circle. And finally, if I want to add some legend, I use this tool as well, which is the text, to write any information I require. You can also use the control and the mouse wheel to scale up or to zoom in and out in your map. Once you get comfortable with the tools, the next question is how do you define the scale for your map? What I usually do is that when I create a square of this size, and you can go very close, I define that this space will be 1 meter by 1 meter. Considering that Unreal uses meters as their measure system, this is a very great reference. And another thing that I usually do is to have a reference of what will be a character. So usually a character will be like, let's say something like this, that will have 3 small squares. If you go very close, you can see that this fits into 3 small squares. And usually I add another one. Let's say in this case could be, in fact, I'm going to copy and paste this one, and I'm going to create one inside. And for me, imagine that this structure will be a person if I look from the top. With a lot of imagination, you can imagine that this is the head, this is the right shoulder, and the left shoulder. Having the scale of my character, now I can go back and define, let me remove this and this, the different levels of height in my scene, in my level, by establishing colors. Let's add I'm going to add a rectangle that I will transform into a square. And let's start with the base level. I can also pick colors this way. And I like to use this method because I can start with let's say the most lower level for my, oh, this is the line, sorry. I want to select the fill. So I'm going to select for the fill this color, and this will represent, I'm going to move back this one to black, and this will represent the ground level for my level. I can also add a legend to this level, and let's call this level 1. Now I can select these both, Command copy, Command V, replicate, and let's define this as level 2. But now for my level 2, I want this color to be a bit darker. So I started here and I can select this next color. This will be the level 2. Now repeat this same process and let's create a level 3. And now I select the next color, which will be, if I'm correct, this one. At the moment that I create the levels, what I have in mind is usually that a character can jump from the level 1 to the next level, in this case the level 2, or they can jump from the level 2 to the level 3. But if they find the level 1 besides the level 3, then they can't jump to this new height. Like 2 levels up, they can do that. I'm going to create just one more between these two. Command copy, Command V, move it here, add as level 4, and a new color, which I think will be this one. I'm not sure about this one. Let's go back and probably try to go to something like this. Let me see. Yeah, this is more clear. Besides the level, I also like to establish other elements that are important. So I'm going to copy all this, Command copy, Command V, and then I'm going to move it to one side. And look that the entire diagram, the entire map, scales up to your requirements. So if you need more space, you just have to move elements to one side or another, and they will automatically scale up. The new elements I want to add are first a ramp, which allow me to pass from one level or to walk through from one level to another following a ramp, a column, which is, well, what it says, just a big column, a wall, and a half wall. The difference between a wall and a half wall is that you can jump a wall, an entire wall, but a half wall is something that you can easily jump, but it's also a wall that you can use to cover. Now let's change the colors. So let's say I will use this orange color for the ramp. For the column, I will use something very, very dark. So I would say something like this color. For the wall, can be something very similar because at the end, you can jump the column and you cannot jump the wall, or you can use something maybe in another color, in another tone. And for the half wall, do something really similar to the wall, but, well, a different color. So let's say something like, I would say something like this. Oh, I did the wrong one. It's the fill. I would say something like this, which is very similar to the wall, but not exactly the wall. Let me correct here the line. And here we have our entire legend. It's not a bad idea also to say that this will be the characters. So I'm going to copy this, put it here, and character or player. Now let's save the changes of our project. And I'm going to name this one first map. Rename. And now we have it as a first map. Let's close the project just a second. Here it is. Let me refresh. First map. When you open the project, you will see it like this. Don't panic. The only thing you got to do is to click where it says Open with Drawio. And now you can continue editing your map. Now let's go to the fun part, which is designing a map. As you remember, I decided that every one of these squares is going to represent 1 meter by 1 meter. So I'm going to start this level with my most base lower level, which will be level 1. So I'm going to Command Copy and Command V and just create a space that I want for my game. Let's say that I want to start with 5 meters. So let's say I'm going to start here and I want 5 meters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, I'm going to move to a little bit more. Let's say 10 meters. So you can see that on the bottom, you have the size that you are changing. So in my case, I want to move this to, let's say, something around here. This will be, let me see, let's check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is correct because in the size, you see that it says 40 by 400 or 10 times 40. Let's move this to one side and now scale it as well in this direction. And let's say another, maybe a little bit more. Let's say something around here. That's great. So we're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 meters. So it is 10 by 13 meters. What I love about this tool is that once you define your map, you can adjust or you can discuss the map with your teammates and make quick changes immediately from the, of course, a top-down perspective. Now on the top of this map, I want a section of around 3 meters that people can jump to. So because they will be able to jump to, I'm going to select the next in order. So if the first level of the ground level was level 1, and I want to be enable the player to jump to the next level, then the level 2 is it has to be on the side. And I want to be 3 meters and probably the same size like this one. I want to add a new section here that they cannot jump to. And that section will be then, let's say level 3. I don't want it to be so high, so let me just define it as level 3. So Command Copy, Command V, and I would say something like this. Maybe 4 meters will be great. And let's say this size as well. And because I want to separate this section from this one, I'm also going to add an entire wall. So let me take this one, Command Copy, Command V, and let's say I will add a wall between these two. Let's say this is going to take around this space and another one to take this other space. Again, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will be the size in terms of meters. And well, just a little bit for how thick you want this wall to be. I want to add a new level a bit higher than this one. So I will take the level 4, move it here, and then let's say 3 meters. I'm going to pick 4 meters for this one and get until the end. So when you see this map, it will be very clear for any person that they can see that this is the lower level, this is a next level, this will be the next level, and this will be the next one. If you want to be even more clear about your code or your colors code, well, you just have to change it and then update it here. Let's say that I want to update this level 4 color. So select the level 4, click here, and let's move to something like a bluish and a bit darker. Apply it. Now I have my new color. And because I want to update it as well on my map, select the map, click here, and then pick the color. That's it. Nevertheless, I'm going to move back to my previous color because that one is too dark and I don't know, too saturated. I don't like that to differentiate these spaces. That is a matter of preferences. Sometimes you can use totally different colors for, let's say, defining 5 to 8 different levels. And if that works for you visually and you can understand what is happening from the top view, that is going to work. Now I'm going to use one part from my legend that is essential, which is the ramps. The ramps allow me to move from one section, from one level to another, because using a ramp, just walking or running. Because I can't not jump from this level to this level directly, because it's 2 levels over this one, I can use a ramp to solve that issue. So copy the ramp, move it to your scene. Let's say it's going to take these 3 meters, and then define how many. I would say 120 probably will be a good size for the ramp. What is this telling the people is, well, if I want to move from this section to this one, I'm going to use a ramp. I cannot jump from here to here. Mark this section as the starting point for the game. So I will add a tag here for start. This is where the player will spawn. And now let's provide some other orientation by adding a wall for this section. Create another wall. In this case, I'm going to copy this one, move it here. Let's get a bit closer. This wall will be around 1 meter, and I'm going to put it, let's say, in this position, and copy and paste again for the bottom. I'm going to copy these two, Command copy, move it to this side, paste them, and place them as well on the other side. Now I will add another ramp for this section, which will invite the player to move to this direction. Let's say something around 2 meters. I can test it and then see what happens. And then I'm going to connect these 2 sections as well using this path. I will probably add, yes, I'm going to add a new level a little bit higher. So Command copy, Command V, and Command copy, Command V. I'm going to add a 5 level, sorry. And let's change this color to something a little bit more darker. I would say something like this one. And now I'm going to copy this and paste it on this side. And let's make this space something around 5 meters. And now 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say 6 meters. And now I will connect these 2 spaces again with a ramp. Place the ramp and let's expand it probably 3, something around 4 meters. I will test this idea and see how it works. And now I want to connect these 2 with first a section like this one. So let me replace. And then because these are in 2 different heights, very different heights, I will also use another ramp. Let's say this ramp will be 2 meters wide ramp. On the top of the map, I am also going to add a couple of walls. Let's say here, and let's say that this is going to connect with another room through a door that is 2 meters wide. And eventually we're going to close this door. When we define sections in a level, it is good to give a name to specific parts of that level. So let's say that all this structure for the level I am creating will be called Block A. So let me take a copy of this one, and I'm going to call this entire thing Block A. You can name it whatever you want. What matters is that you have a name that can help you identify one section of your level of your map from others. And that also allows you to have a more clear communication with other level designers, developers, programmers, etc. And to add a couple of elements extra of interest, let me add some columns. The importance of the columns are that they provide you with spaces where the player can take cover or hide from some enemy that is trying to kill them. So let's add a couple more. I would say someone maybe around here at this point, and another one, I don't know, maybe here. The good thing about working with a tool like this one is that you can start opening the conversations with the entire team. And if you have to change something, you can change that things very fast, very quickly. Because this section is closer to this one, I can create a ramp that maybe could be 2 meters instead of 3. And now I have a full structure for a section of my level. Now, this section can connect with another new section of the level. And again, at the moment that you start testing the level and that you move it to, let's say, Unreal, and try to test it and you feel that something is not feeling right, then you can start moving elements or expanding the size or rearranging things so you can feel that when I play this level, it feels correct. But with what you have at this moment, you can start experimenting in Unreal and Gray blocks and see and feel how this level, how this block A of your level feels. And of course, collect feedback from testers, from people that are trying to explore the level, discover, or eventually kill other characters or solve some puzzles inside this section. And as you collect that information, then you can make changes and then implement as well the changes on your 3D map. As soon as you have a map that makes sense for you, then you can go to File and Export As, and you can select a PNG or JPEG or whatever format that you can share with your entire team. And that's it for part 1 of this level design series. If you found value here, make sure to like, subscribe, add your comments, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next video, where we'll take the map we just created and turn it into a fully modeled in 3D inside Unreal. And if you are ready to go beyond tutorials, head over to Woolen.com and check out the Game Creator Accelerator. It's my lifetime mentorship program where you'll not only learn the technical skills, but also get a proven strategy to grow your presence, your career, and even your own studio. You'll have me guiding you in one-on-one sessions, plus you will be part of a community of committed creators who are walking the same path. We do it all together. Until next time, keep creating, keep sharing, and most importantly, keep dreaming big. I'll see you soon, my fellow creators.